Monday, 9 a.m. And now, the most important and up-to-date news at this hour from the TSN team. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell, leave your comments, and let's get started. Three people have died and 2 were injured in Zaporizhzhia. At night, the Russians dropped at least 5 aerial bombs on the city, according to the head of the regional military administration, Ivan Fedorov. 15 apartment buildings and 10 private houses were destroyed or damaged. Non-residential premises were also affected. Rescuers are extinguishing a fire at a civilian infrastructure facility. In the Kyiv region, Russian invaders directed Shaheds at the Borispil district. As a result of the attack, residential buildings caught fire. In Sumy, enemy drone strikes hit industrial facilities and residential buildings. 1 person was injured. The acting mayor of Sumy, Artem Kobzar, spoke about the attack on social media.
The 3 explosions you heard in the city were Shahed drones passing through. 2 of them hit industrial areas and 1 hit an educational institution. All relevant services are working at the scene. Unfortunately, 1 person has been injured. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., a headquarters will be set up to deal with the aftermath of the emergency situation. Windows and balcony units were blown out in apartment buildings.
The day before, in Kostiantynivka, Donetsk region, rockets and drones struck. The Russians shelled the city with artillery and also dropped an aerial bomb. 2 people were injured in the Pokrovsk region. The enemy shelled the Nikopol district with artillery. An elderly man was injured. 4 houses, infrastructure and gas networks were damaged. They also shelled Sinelnikivshchina. The Russians dropped guided aerial bombs on the Malomikhailivska community. A woman was injured. A kindergarten, garages and private homes were destroyed. In the evening, the occupiers launched Shaheds at Dnipropetrovsk region. A resident of Sukhanov in Kherson region suffered blast injuries. He was attacked by a Russian drone. Another local resident was injured in Bilozerka. An enemy shell landed in the man's yard. In Blahovishchensky and Kherson, residential buildings caught fire due to Russian shelling. An administrative building was destroyed in Sadov. The enemy has advanced a bit further towards Pokrovsk in Donetsk region, as well as in 2 villages in Zaporizhzhia and Dnipropetrovsk regions. The most intense fighting right now, according to the General Staff of Ukraine, is taking place in the Pokrovsk direction. The enemy is also trying to advance in the Lyman, Toretsk and Novopavlivka sectors. Over the past day, the defense forces managed to eliminate more than 1,000 occupiers, destroy their tank, 25 artillery systems, and more than 50 drones. Fighters from the Primorye Special Unit of the Main Intelligence Directorate of Ukraine destroyed 3 Mi-8 helicopters and an expensive radar station in the territory of annexed Crimea. Last night, they launched drones equipped with cameras, which not only turned the helicopters into scrap metal, but also filmed the entire process. It can be seen that the Russians tried to camouflage the helicopters under trees, but it didn't help. The destroyed Nebo-U radar station is worth approximately $100 million. Zelensky hopes to receive confirmation of security guarantees from Trump. He told this to journalists. The leaders of Ukraine and the United States are set to meet in New York, where the UN General Assembly begins today. As part of the event, bilateral talks are planned for the Ukrainian president, including with the American leader. According to Zelensky, the foundation for security guarantees is already in place, which Europe has agreed to, provided that the United States will stand by. Another group of doctors has arrived in the temporarily occupied territories. This was reported the day before by the Center for National Resistance. The Russians are bringing their own medical personnel to the occupied territories because the local ones refuse to cooperate. The refusal of Ukrainian doctors to follow the occupiers' orders is creating a critical shortage of staff in medical institutions. The region is already experiencing shortages of medicine, fuel, food, and qualified specialists. So this time, Russian medical personnel were brought in from Kalmykia, which is over 500 kilometers from Luhansk region. Despite the war, more and more foreigners are entrusting their lives and health to Ukrainian doctors. Dentistry, cosmetology, plastic surgery, reproductive medicine. Our specialists are chosen primarily for their professionalism. But the cost of procedures, which is much lower than in most European countries, also plays an important role.
Who do you have here? Alyona Nizhna calls her little daughter Anna Grigorievna. Such a tiny little girl. Under the close supervision of doctors, she has been here in the intensive care unit of the capital's cardiology and cardiac surgery center practically since her first days of life.
She turned exactly 1 month old yesterday.
Alyona found out about her baby's congenital heart defects at home in Moldova as early as the 20th week of pregnancy. But she never even considered having an abortion. When the girl was born, she weighed just over 2 kilograms. Local doctors warned her that they would not be able to save such a child. So they advised her to turn to specialists in Kyiv.
I gave birth in Moldova.
I gave birth in Moldova, and there she was in intensive care for 2 days. When it was decided to go to Kyiv, we did so immediately. We traveled in an ambulance very quickly because the child's condition was critical.
There was no time to waste because without surgical intervention, the child would have died.
The main problem with this defect is that the child's life depends on a blood vessel, the ductus arteriosus, which functions before birth and closes after birth. If this vessel had closed in this little girl, she simply would have died.
The surgery, Alyona recalls, lasted about 7 hours.
When they came out and said everything was fine, I calmed down a little, started crying, but thank God everything is okay.
And to save this boy's life, the center's doctors traveled to Moldova. They were present at the birth and immediately after the umbilical cord was cut. They took Mark to the operating room where they performed the Rashkin procedure.
This is a medical procedure in which, through vascular access, the atrial septal connection truly needs to be widened, in other words, roughly speaking, to carefully tear the septum in order to improve the mixing of blood at the atrial level and ensure normal blood oxygenation.
This allowed Mark to be stabilized and transferred to Kyiv for the next surgical intervention. So why do foreigners trust their lives and the lives of their children specifically to Ukrainian doctors? One of the reasons, says the general director of the Center for Cardiology and Cardiac Surgery, Ilya Yemets, is the professionalism of our medical staff. And even the Russian shelling of Kyiv does not scare away people who come here for treatment.
During the war, we have operated on 81 patients from Moldova alone. And that's just the surgeries. In total, more than 140 people from Moldova have been examined and hospitalized here. During the war, I also had patients from Turkey and Azerbaijan.
The issue of treatment costs is no less important.
I was in Switzerland, in Lausanne. One of my colleagues there could not accept a child with a congenital defect without a prepayment of 150,000 euros. For example, Poland. That's where heart surgeries begin. Complex surgeries start at around 20,000. If we talk, for example, about the cost price in our facility, the most complex surgery on a newborn costs about 200,000 hryvnias.
Now Mark, who underwent surgery in the first minutes of his life, is in stable condition in the intensive care unit.
Such a little one is sleeping here with us.
Little Anna Hrihorivna is also gaining strength. She still has the next stages of treatment ahead of her. But her mother Alyona believes that thanks to Ukrainian doctors, her daughter will make a full recovery and soon return home to Moldova, where her father is eagerly waiting for her.
The doctors here are very good. I am very grateful to them. They have golden hands.
Olha Loskun and Volodymyr Stapenko, the TSN 1+1.
You are watching TSN and everything you need to know at this hour. Just a reminder, to make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell. Well, I'll continue with the news. In Zaporizhzhia region, a man who was selling weapons was detained. He was trading in Orikhiv, a city located just 8 kilometers from the front line. At the end of August, the detainee made some extra money by selling 5 grenades and later managed to sell another 8 explosive devices and an assault rifle. He received 28,000 hryvnias for this. The offender has been detained. He faces up to 7 years in prison. A scandal in the Zhytomyr region. There, a 5-year-old boy almost got hit by a car after running away from home because of beatings. That's what he told the driver, who barely braked in time in front of the child. The boy said he sought his mother, his father beats him. Police, with child services, investigated whose child. It turned out that the parents are also raising 2 older sons. And in June of this year, the police had already opened a case for domestic violence in the family. At that time, it was about the beating of the middle son. Now, social services are deciding whether to remove the children from the family. For now, all 3 have been taken to the hospital for examination. Zaporizhzhia joined the World Cleanup Day. Right in the heart of the city, on Khortytsia, 150 people gathered. The cleanup was organized by the U-Animals Charity for Animal and Environmental Rescue. Volunteers and concerned citizens cleaned up more than 4 hectares of land. The collected plastic was sent to a 3D printing workshop for military needs. TSN correspondent Daria Nazarova will tell you more.
From early morning, people gathered on Khortytsia to clean the island of trash. Maria is not new to such events. Last year, she cleaned the shoreline with her friends, and this time she brought her family along for the initiative.
A colleague invited me, and I didn't come alone. I brought my husband and my sister too.
So it would be more fun together. Is it necessary to do this? Of course it is. If not us, then who? Especially since we live here, we breathe this air. We need to take care of our environment and our nature. The eco-cleanup has been held in Zaporizhzhia for the 4th time now. The event is organized by the charity organization Animals. Volunteers say that over this time, they've had to pick up all sorts of things on the island. There are tires, an incredible number of them, parts from boats, and household items like shoes. Basically, you could put together a whole wardrobe from what's there. You can tell by the trash how many years it's been lying there. Sometimes it's really funny. Or on the contrary, sad and confusing, like when life starts appearing inside a bottle. There's already some plants, some little creatures in there. Traditionally, before a big cleanup, people are reminded about the dangers that might be hidden along the Dniepro's shores.
This used to be the bottom of the Dnipro, the bottom of the Kakhovka reservoir. Where we're standing now, the depth was about 3 meters, so no one has ever collected anything here before. You can find remnants of munitions from World War II here. You can also find remains of shaheds, remains of drones that are flying around now. People have been warned that if they find anything dangerous, we don't touch it. We call the State Emergency Service, and the specialist will know better.
What to do with it. Ola, a participant in the Eco March from Zaporizhzhia, has been taking part in such events for 2 years now. Since the day of the explosion, we came to take a walk to see what had happened, how the water had receded, and we saw a pile of household garbage. And we started to bring people together through various social media platforms, inviting them to join our important efforts. Among the most striking and unexpected finds were a discarded sofa in the river, a bulky refrigerator, a broken television, numerous mattresses, and just countless bags of trash and debris. In 3 hours of work, the participants of the cleanup cleared more than 4 hectares of land from plastic, glass, and metal. In total, they collected 6 tons of garbage. Afterwards, it will be sorted and taken for recycling. The volunteers plan to give the bottle caps to a 3D printing workshop, where they will be used to make items for the military. Daria Nazarova, Andriy Kupovka, Zaporizhzhia, TSN 1+1.
In Uman, the celebration of Rosh Hashanah has begun. It has been a tradition for 100 years to visit the grave of the tzaddik, that is, the righteous man, Nachman, which is located in the city. The Hasidim believe that if they pray on the grave of the righteous man during the Jewish New Year, the coming year will be a happy one for them. After the prayers, the loud celebration will begin. These days, more than 40,000 foreign pilgrims arrive. As a result, housing prices in Uman have skyrocketed. A report from Uman will be in the next TCH broadcast. Arsenal of ideas. Different together. The Mistetsky Arsenal has brought together in one project the fields of the creative industry and extracurricular education, museum pedagogy, cultural heritage, and the public sector in order to create a space for a true celebration. This festival engages teenagers, children, and their parents in education through creativity and entirely new play-based practices. In particular, science, technology, culture, and art are presented here in an accessible and fun way. And the festival itself serves as a platform for exchanging experiences with colleagues from all over the country. This year, the festival featured more than 60 events. Among them were collage and drawing workshops, interactive performances, film discussions, educational games, and lectures. As part of the event, for which 1+1 Media is an information partner, a lecture on media professions was given by a graduate of the 1+1 Media School, who is now a correspondent for Snidanok. Also, during the Opportunity Fair, my colleagues from the Media School presented their educational programs.
1+1 is a partner of the Arsenal of Ideas. Today we came here with the Media School to give a comprehensive lecture about all the various professions that exist in television. I was met with the truly inspired eyes of children and, most importantly, adults. We talked about our inner workings, about the many professions we have, and I have a feeling that soon we'll have some new ones, little or even adult colleagues.
It was really great. That's all for now. I'm wrapping up this episode, but TSN never stops. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the most important things. Have a successful and easy work week.